This is where we are. It's like a lost flower. This tree that's been bent down and broken by the snow. When I'm making these filmy things, which isn't very often, but when I do, Mo sometimes wonder, who the heck are you talking to? Right, Mo? Is that what you wonder sometimes? Who the heck are you talking to, Daddy? You're strange. Well, people have been saying that for years. So we have these gorgeous birch trees. These are little young ones. But then on the sides of the path we have this little tiny nursery. This path nursery of pine trees of some kind. I'm not really good at this kind of stuff, but I know the occasional tree. And look at the size of this stone wall right here. Look how broad that is. That's probably like 5 or 6 feet across. That is a road. That is not a stone wall. There are many little brooks and streams and probably springs. There are a lot of springs in these hills around here. And there's one actually that I believe is, when it runs harder, you can see the water rushing down there, but it's a bit quiet right now. So this tree, which isn't really that very old, but it was probably a shade tree, and it was here before all of these birch trees popped up, and before these pine trees popped up, that's for sure. And the size of these trees tells us, if we're going to get edumacational about it, it tells us that this was all once cleared. There's another big old pine. And the stone walls are an indication of sheep or cattle of some kind. But here, see, this is very interesting. Right here, this is where the old woman of the mountains hut used to be. See all those wonderful birches in the background there. In the summer you can barely see this. You have to know where it is to see it, or be observant, which most people these days are. But it's really cool. You got that big old tree poking out the top of it like a chimney. Love it. I love it. I love birch trees. And I like aspen trees, which are very similar to birch trees, except at the bottom of the trunk they have that vertical thing going on. And a little stream down there, look, it feeds down there. But I do like pines. I like oak trees a lot. Hence the title of my book, Under the Oaken Bough. Because oak trees, for me, are very British. It's very stony and rocky around here because it's New Hampshire. But yeah, this is where I live. This is where I walk my dog Mo. Mo, 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 mo. What do you smell? What do you smell? Let's leave it. Come on. And in here, there are berries, which is great in the fall, the end of the summer and the fall. I'm going to continue down this way. I can imagine my cousins watching this and saying, Simon, really huffing, you're not very fit. Well, no. I'm not very fit at all. But we do like the epi-downy over the rocks and over the old stumps and the roots. This, wow. Whose breakfast table is this, do you think? I think a squirrel or two or some chipmunks are interested in that place. What do you think, Mo? Do you think the same thing? I don't know. I just want to catch one. Now, for most of the year this year, behind these trees, there is a pool of water which is almost dried up now, which is really interesting. But it's been there like this for most of the year, and usually that is only there in the spring and the fall when we have rain. But this year it's been so wet, which has been good because our water levels are like crazy low in New Hampshire. This year it's been there for most of the year. It's been a couple of times when it's vanished, and a couple of times when it's reappeared. And along this trail, a little bit creaking of the trees. Oh, getting old, I'm going to fall down one day. We get a plethora of mushrooms in this forest. I need to study more. But we also get, right around here, these wonderful plants which pop up, which the first plants we get are, no, I can't think of them, trilliums. We get trilliums. And sometimes you can see the traces of them in the winter. And then, all excitement, we get lady slippers, which is not their official Latin name. No, oh, look at that bark. Well, it's not bark. Look at that tree trunk. Oh, the colours. Now, Woody's been here, I think. Some knots there. It just goes up because, you know, that's what trees do. They go up. And on these trees that go up, there are all sorts of different types of markings. You can see the old paint, and then they got these on, but there are other kind of markings too, which I shall share with you. Are you bored yet? Other trail markers. Some are not very big. Some of the old painted markers have grown with the tree. Another trail marker. We've got people coming. Some markers look like that. It was here that Moe and I were walking in the snow one winter, because you don't get snow in the summer. Not here anyway. We were walking through here and we heard this crunch, 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 crunch. And then Mo stopped in her necklace, her tags jangled, and all of a sudden the dunk, 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 dunk stopped. And I think, based on the sound of it, it was probably a bear running. So we didn't get to see it, but we got to hear it, and it was pretty darn close. But Mo and I stuck close together, and we escaped the wrath of the forest. Did I say it was a bit slippy? Love these sorts of trees.
Okay, before we get started, I should let you know
a lot.
this is about 5 minutes long. Alright, I should
why
let you
these
know
broken
before
fairy
we go too
tales
far into the woods.
Show that
This is
well,
about
the
10
witch
minutes
was
long.
trapped in the tree. Right? I mean, look at that.
Alright, before we get
Awesome.
too far into the woods, I should probably let you know it's about 15
I was saying
minutes
a
long.
little while ago how trees go up and up and up and up
Before we get too far into the woods,
until they don't.
this is
And
about
that's what happened
20
when
minutes
it
long
snapped off.
or so.
Move around. Oh, you can't, because that blooming thing's in the way. They come crashing down. I love the roots of this tree embracing this rock. It's pretty darn cool. That's not Mo. Good girl. She's waiting for me because she hears this other dog. because the other dog can probably smell Moe. I don't know, it might be able to spell Moe as well. Who knows? Believe it or not, at the beginning of the year, all of this was covered with brush. And when I say brush, I mean trees and bushes, which included berries, and they chopped them all down. This is all marshalling. You see where the big old vehicles came through. I mean, they were huge vehicles too. Clearing it because of the power lines. This is Great Brook, which isn't very big, I know, but it's called Great Brook. And on the other side of this brook, you'll see a flat field of green. And there's an old cabin back there too, of some sort. But down here, you'll see some stone wall. And because that stone wall is so close to this flat field right here, and because there is an island of sorts in the middle, and because that island splits the stream into two, right there, this is the island, and it goes around the other side here as well. I think this used to be a mill at some point. Maybe a sawmill because of all the trees. And here's another unusually flat area that might have been cleared at some point. And a stone retaining wall for the stream.
I do love this sort of thing, in case you hadn't figured it out. Crossing over a little tiny bridge. Whoa! Over a teeny tiny stream, and Moe's off.
This has a very different look in the spring and the summer. You know why? Pop quiz. It's all green! More property markers. And if you look carefully, you can see them, they all go down that way. Some of the markings have turned into hearts. And this pool, which is probably waist deep, in the summer gets very, very shallow. So I don't know if Grandpa once or always used to go jumping in the winter. I don't know, but it's such a nice place. I mean, look at the sliding bits down there, and that big old stone wall over there. And some of the local people, I think it's the people that own the land, they build these. There's one through the trees here. They build these crazy little hideout spots. Like that one. Starting to get dark. Dusk is just around the corner. The Moe is just next to that tree. The light in these woods right now is absolutely gorgeous. This is a big old tree that stopped going up and came down. Right there. Big old tree. And these trees are just held up by other ones. Now through the trees you can see these big old boulders. And my friend Peter, who would sometimes come out with me and we would walk our cameras and mow. We would take pictures. He said that he saw a bear watching him from on one of these rocks over there. I haven't had that pleasure yet, but I look forward to it with relish. Maybe a bit of mustard, said the vegetarian. When there's rain, this all floods. More than this. And sometimes it's not the property owners that build strange things in the woods. It's either nature or me and my son. Another body of water that is usually not as deep as this at this time of year, because in the summer it's gone down so much. This will all ice over. After the snow, it'll probably look a lot like this. And I think that's pretty much it. Remember those?